Welcome back to Conscious Truth. Today I'm going to be talking about the shape of the Earth. There's a lot of videos on YouTube, some great information about the flat Earth, and I myself have shown that beyond any shadow of a doubt that NASA have made fake images of a ball Earth, such as the one that I exposed on my previous video from the Apollo mission. There's no doubt about it that that image was not a real image of the Earth, and there was also no doubt that, you know, if we really did live on a ball, on a so-called planet, as they say, that there would be many photos, full color, proper photos of the Earth with stars in the background and videos, etc., which there are not. So you may be wondering why you're seeing a ball going round and round a Mobius strip. This is because I've been thinking about the flat Earth model a lot over the last year, and I could never really resolve the issue with the sunset. Okay, I'm totally I wouldn't say totally. I wouldn't say I'm ever totally convinced of anything, but I'd say I'm 99% sure that we don't live on a planet at all, and that we're not on a ball spinning round and flying around the sun, as they say. But when it comes to the flat Earth model, I've always had quite a healthy skepticism of the flat Earth model as it's often presented as well, because you see the sun going round and round, and I don't really see how the sunset could happen. I've seen many videos where people try to explain it. I mean, sure, yeah, if you're on a flat plane and when things do go really far in the distance, they do seem to drop in the sky. But for the sun to actually drop so far that it just disappears behind the horizon, the sun would have gotten quite a lot smaller by that point. By the time it reached the horizon, it would be kind of infinitely small, and so that just doesn't really work very well. Anyway, so I think I have come up with actually a real explanation that actually works, and that is that the Earth is not a ball, but it's also not flat. Not flat in the way you think it is, anyway. Not flat in the way that most people have shown. But what I've realized is that most probably we do live on a flat plane, but that flat plane is actually a four-dimensional shape. And that brings me to why I'm showing you this Mobius strip. Because this Mobius strip, as you see it, it appears to have two sides. If you look at any part of it, it looks like you could cut a hole through and you'd go through to the other side. But also, the ball just keeps going in one direction, and it also ends up on the other side because it's twisted. And that twist, there could also be a four-dimensional twist to our world that we live in. Hence the reason why, if you keep going in one direction, you end up coming back to where you started. That's the reason why everyone thinks they live on a ball. That's because the sun appears to go down and appears to go round and round the Earth. But actually, it's just because there's actually a twist in the fourth dimension. So imagine that. Imagine if we actually live. Imagine if you are actually living in a four-dimensional space, in a four-dimensional world. You keep going in one direction, you end up where you started, because it's twisted in the fourth dimension. It's not because you're on a ball. You see? It's only been in recent years that science has started to even admit that there could be other dimensions of space. But now, it's pretty much accepted. And I think this is the solution. All the problems with the flat Earth theory just vanish when you think of it like this. There aren't any more problems. All the problems with living on a ball all vanish. And all of a sudden, it all makes sense. People have said, oh, how could we be on a flat plane? How could the stars be going around us? They'd be going so fast and all this stuff. It doesn't matter, because its speed is irrelevant when you're talking about things moving in other dimensions. Another quick thing I'd like to mention about why the ball theory is incorrect, and another thing that made me realize the manipulation was when I realized that so-called exoplanets have been thrown around all over the TV. Star Trek is an obvious one, but then there's countless movies, etc., that have come out since then. Star Trek started back in the 60s, okay? And the main theme of Star Trek was that we would be going out into space in the future. We would be flying around, going to other planets, and almost every episode, Captain Kirk would arrive on another exoplanet and meet some kind of beings that lived there, So this idea has been just rammed into everyone's mind since the 60s, okay? So can you imagine my surprise when recently I was reading about exoplanets, so-called exoplanets, and I found that the first exoplanet was supposedly only discovered in 1992. 1992. So this whole idea that there are even other planets in the universe was pure theory up until 1992. But in the meantime, Hollywood and all the TV industry managed to just completely fill everyone's minds with this idea, and which of course NASA continued as well with their phony moon trip and their phony pictures of the ball Earth. So that's it. It's so simple when you realize it. Of course, we are living in a world there seems to be a huge atheist science cult conspiracy where they want everyone to believe that they live on this tiny little ball which is insignificant in space. There is no importance to this place where we live. There's no creator. The whole universe was just some kind of weird accident that just happened in this big bang, and that there's millions of other planets, billions of other planets out there, possibly with life on, and there's nothing special about us or the world we live in or humankind or anything. And people like Lawrence Krauss and Richard Dawkins want you to believe that. They're like the modern day high priests of the atheist church cult. But the truth couldn't be any more different. The real truth is that we live in the one and only world creation, which is infinite and infinitely looped like this, so that if you keep going you come back to where you started, and that's the world we live in. We are the center of it. There is no other place than this. We're never going to go somewhere else. We're never going to live on another planet. This is where we are. This is where we live. We live in this world. And that's why it's the special creation that was created for us to experience our lives. And the whole ball Earth thing and this like snooker table universe is just a massive distraction to confuse everyone. So there you go. That'll be the end of this video for now. See you next time. Bye.